Hey everybody, today we have Paige Doing with us. Paige is an account manager in the cardiopulmonary division. Thanks for being with us, Paige.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, it's always a pleasure. Paige, let's jump right in. I know we're just kicking off summer, but the fall jobs are starting to pop up here soon. Why is it we see so many jobs pop in the fall?
Yes, so the fall is definitely a very busy season for the cardiopulmonary division as a whole, as well as respiratory therapists. Reason being is it's flu and allergy season. So hospitals are expecting a spike in their census, and they reach out to Aureus in order to, help them fill those gaps with some temporary staffing. And so 13-week contracts, we'll have plenty of them available when flu season hits.
With that in mind, are there any states that you'd recommend people apply for now?
Right now, absolutely. Most licenses, can take anywhere from 5 to 8 weeks, but some licenses can take up to 3 months. So those increased needs, we'll start to see those drop through in around October. So if you have goals to travel to maybe Texas or California, those licenses can take up to 3 months, and you are expected to have them in hand. So I would recommend get working on those right now.
I know a lot of travelers like to kind of stick to a region when they're traveling typically. Are there any specific states that you'd recommend people jumping on right now, or at the very least getting done here in the next month or so for those hot needs coming in?
Absolutely. So for my travelers, I always recommend obtaining a license in every single region. So you want something in the Northeast, something in the Midwest. And the reason being is with COVID, as we've seen, there are hot spots. And so to ensure that you are marketable and, always available for opportunities, I would recommend working on those regions. So some really great states to apply for would be Massachusetts, New York, Ohio, Florida, North Dakota, California, Arizona. Those are some really great states to work on.
You threw California in there. Can you kind of jump in a little bit deeper specifically on that one? I know that's a state that you cover. Tell us a little bit more about that specific process, what a traveler could expect to go through once they actually apply.
Absolutely. So with California, there are a lot of requirements. So you want to ensure that you have all of your application, education verification. With that, the more licenses you have, the more license verifications they will need. So I would always recommend taking a copy of your application if possible. You want to ensure that you have all of those required items when sending, because that can delay processing. They do require fingerprints as well, passport photos. So all of that you'll want to have a copy of. So in case something goes missing, you want to follow up with all the appropriate parties to ensure that California will have everything they need and can process your application in a timely manner.
Sounds very thorough. I know California can be one of the longest. Are there any other states out there that are a little more quirky? I've heard that New Hampshire still requires an actual paper, wet signature to be mailed in.
Yes. So California, 3 months. Texas can take up to 3 months as well. So start working on that right now. Other quirky states, Massachusetts does require signed, sealed verification. So, that's kind of going back to those other parties that are involved. You want to make sure you're following up with your college and other states to ensure that your stuff is being mailed in. New Hampshire, yes, it's a great license to get, and many don't have it because of the application process. You do actually need to request an application online, and they mail that application to you, and then you have to mail it back. So it can definitely be a lengthy process, and all of it's mail-in. And Nebraska is actually the same way. Everything is done via mail. So with states like that, you're just going to want to make sure you have a copy of everything, and you're really staying on top of your stuff.
Now, you mentioned Florida as a quick license state. Are there any other states out there that go that fast, or do the majority of them take that typical 3 to 5 weeks?
Yes, so Florida is one of our quicker states. There are some states that are very quick to process. Vermont can typically take about a week or so, and we do see some needs there. Florida, absolutely, it is about 1 week. Massachusetts, even if you have all of your stuff in, it takes about 2 weeks. From time to time, we do get opportunities that allow us to submit without the license in hand, because those licenses will only take 2 to 3 weeks or so. Those opportunities are in Montana, Wyoming. And so from time to time, we do see those, but those positions typically get snagged up pretty quickly.
Wow. Do you have any other main pieces of advice you'd give just as a blanket statement?
Yes, first and foremost, organization is key. I would take a copy of your application and all of the paperwork that you have and just keep that on file with you. If a state does not receive all of your items in a timely manner, your application kind of gets put to the back burner. So you want to ensure that you're following up with the appropriate parties, making sure that they have all your items. Some states, such as Massachusetts and Nebraska, a lot of their stuff is all done mail-in paperwork. You have to have signed, sealed verifications from certain states for education. So you want to ensure that you're following up with all parties to make sure that all the documentation is in hand and that your license will be processed.
Wow. Sounds like a lot of stuff. I know that the recruiters are definitely helpful with that stuff. This has been some awesome advice, Paige. Thank you so much for joining us. And for more on license information, or if you have any questions, you can connect with me.